A petition's been launched in Italy calling for the country to halt the weapons supplies to Ukraine. The person behind it, Enzo Panetta, says that the ultimate goal is to get a referendum held on the issue to give people a chance to express their will, something he claims they aren't able to do at present.
It all started with the observation that, contrary to the wishes of the majority of Italians, that is, according to all the polls, more than half of Italians are against sending weapons to Ukraine, while our government, the whole parliament, and the opposition are in favor of weapons deliveries. So now there is a rift between the people's will and what our representatives have decided. According to our Constitution, if the will of the people for some reason is not supported by legislative decisions, there is an instrument of voting in a referendum, and referendums can be held to repeal the law. Thus, there is a group of lawyers who have been working since last summer on the possibility of using this tool to stop the supply of weapons to Ukraine and in general to any warring country. In its title, we refer to the 11th article of the Constitution, which states that Italy rejects war as a means of resolving international conflicts. This group of jurists has finalized the demands that are now ready to present clearly to the will of the people. But first, we must collect a fairly large number of signatures. In 3 months, we need 500,000 signatures. This campaign began on April 22nd. We set ourselves such a goal because our motivation is to end the war.
Some of those who back the petition say they don't see arms supplies to Ukraine as the best use of state money or the right foreign policy approach for the country.
We no longer want these weapons to be sent to Ukraine. This money spent by Italy on the purchase of weapons could be used for something else, such as for the unemployed and hospitals.
Italy is not a belligerent country, and the Constitution also says so. But right now, it is as if it were declaring war on Russia. What we want to do is send a message to our politicians, let them know that there are a lot of people who don't agree with sending arms to Ukraine.
Italy is paying for a conflict that is not its own, and I think it's all the fault of the Americans and NATO. The American politicians are playing little games. Italy is a slave to them and to their dirty power games.
Enzo Panetta again says he's worried the conflict could end up in a nuclear war, and that's the reason he's urging Italian politicians to insist on peace talks.
The idea that an increase in the supply of weapons would end the war turned out to be dramatic, tragic, and erroneous. We just want to achieve negotiations. That is, that at some point there will be a ceasefire and negotiations will begin. We are very concerned that by increasing the level of confrontation against a nuclear power with the aim of defeating it in a war, we are moving towards a third world war, which cannot be imagined as a solution to the problem. The generations from the Cold War know very well that the Third World War will be nuclear. Obviously, no one wants this. We want to stop this run into the abyss, which it seems is being done in every possible way. We never hear about the negotiations, forgetting they have a basis on which to work. There are the Minsk agreements that were accepted by everyone. That is the basis that has been from the very first day of the conflict. It is obvious that the path of uncontested advancement of a military solution was chosen, and so there have been no agreements for more than a year. You need to somehow apply pressure to return to them. It is absolutely unbelievable that they are prohibited by law. Every conflict must be directed towards a solution through negotiations. Again, the idea of winning a war is clearly unrealistic. This will lead to a catastrophe, not only for Ukraine, but for the whole of Europe, the whole world as a whole, Asia, and for at least the West.
North Korea has warned against escalating nuclear tensions in the region